Hello everyone, my name is Brayden, this is Airless Quill 9, and in today's video we are going to talk about the competitor and prize fighter known as the Gladiator. Gladiators are professional fighters who pit themselves against one another, monsters, and other challenges to entertain audiences. While some compete merely to survive, others love the thrill of performing, and all gladiators know the importance of theatrics in keeping audiences excited. The 2024 Monster Manual gives us a table to roll on called the Gladiator Theatrics Table, and this is to help Dungeon Masters inspire the unique flourishes a gladiator uses when competing. During a competition, the gladiator might dedicate their impending victory to a deity, ruler, beloved noble, or member of the crowd. Or they might dress in a monster-themed mask and cape, or perhaps judge whether their foe fights honorably. Or they might lead the crowd in a rousing theme song, or seek to claim a trophy from a foe. Or perhaps they even take advice from the crowd, omens, or a pet. With this table, this can just give you a few ideas of how a gladiator might use theatrics during a gladiatorial competition. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the 2024 Gladiator stat block, and then compare it to its 2014 iteration. So the Gladiator is a medium or small humanoid of neutral alignment. They have an armor class of 16, an initiative of +5, 112 hit points, a speed of 30 feet. For their ability scores, they have a strength of 18, a dexterity of 15, a constitution of 16, an intelligence of 10, a wisdom of 12, and a charisma of 15. They also have proficiency in strength, dexterity, constitution, and wisdom saving throws. For their skills, they have athletics at +10 and performance at +5. For their gear, they have a shield, 3 spears, and studded leather armor. For their senses, they have passive perception of 11, languages they know common, and the Gladiator is a challenge rating of 5 creature, giving an 1800 experience points and a proficiency bonus of +3. In its action section, the Gladiator has a multi-attack allowing it to make 3 spear attacks. However, it can replace one attack with a use of shield bash. The spear is a melee or ranged attack roll with a +7 to hit, and a reach of 5 feet or a range of 20 to 60 feet. On a hit, it deals 2d6 +4 piercing damage. The shield bash, however, is a strength saving throw, DC 15, targeting one creature within 5 feet that the gladiator can see. On a failure, the target takes 2d4 +4 bludgeoning damage, and if the target is a medium or smaller creature, it has the prone condition. Finally, in the reactions, the gladiator has a special reaction called parry, allowing it to, when it is hit by a melee attack roll while holding a weapon, it can then add 3 to its armor class against that attack, possibly causing it to miss. With all of this together, the Gladiator is definitely a fierce combatant that can hold itself on the battlefield against foes. Now, in 2014, there are some differences to the 2024 version. In 2014, the Gladiator did not have the small size category attached to it, or the ability to be small, though it was always assumed that you could change a stat block to a smaller or larger size and just use the same statistics. However, for the Gladiator now, this is specified in the stat block. Neutral has also been aligned or given as the alignment of the Gladiator. In 2014, this was previously any alignment. So that has been replaced with neutral, mostly because neutral is a state of being that can mean that the gladiator can fall on any axis of the alignment tree. And this is something that Wizards of the Coast has done, where a stat block would have had any alignment in 2014. It is now stated to be neutral, and that is their placeholder for how a stat block can be of any alignment that the DM chooses. Gladiator has also gotten a bump to its initiative rolls, and this comes in the fact that it is now proficient in initiative, which is where it gets that +5 from. In 2014, the Gladiator had proficiency in intimidation. However, in 2024 rather, this has been replaced with the performance skill, which kind of fits the air of the Gladiator just a little bit more, in my opinion. The gear section is, of course, entirely new in 2024, and this just states what type of items the Gladiator has on its person for players who want to remove those items from a stat block once that creature is defeated. Now, there are some changes to the actions as well, and that comes in the fact that the Gladiator in 2014 used to you make 3 melee attacks or 2 ranged attacks. However, in 2024, this now allows the Gladiator to make 3 spear attacks, which could be either melee or ranged. Just keep in mind that the Gladiator only has 3 spears, so using them all in ranged attacks might not be the best idea for you to do. With the added addition, the Gladiator can now replace one of its attacks with the use of Shield Bash, and Shield Bash used to be a attack roll, but now it is a saving throw. Granted, this doesn't do anything on a successful save. However, Shield Bash didn't deal any damage if you missed with the attack to begin with, so this isn't really that much of a massive change. There are some benefits to this actually being a saving throw, considering strength is probably the best saving throw to pit up against player characters, since the only characters that might have proficiency in strength saving throws are going to be barbarians, fighters, and monks. So this is a pretty good saving throw to target against player characters. The only other real change here is that the Gladiator in 2014 used to have 2 traits. The first of these was Brave, which allowed it to have advantage on saving throws against being frightened, and the second one was Brute, which just stated that the melee weapon attacks of the Gladiator dealt an extra die of damage. Brute has been removed because this is just something that is explicitly included in attack rolls now and doesn't need to be explained for monster stat blocks. And Brave has been removed and replaced with proficiency in wisdom saving throws for the Gladiator in 2024. And overall, I think that is a nice change there, because not only will wisdom saving throw proficiency help against the frightened condition, but it will also help against other spells and effects that target wisdom saving throws. Overall, I think the Gladiator in 2024 is a little bit improved and a little bit more of a front head fighter with the current abilities that it has and the new abilities that it has in its repertoire. And I think this Gladiator is looking very nice and will be a great alternative for the 2024 rule set. That is going to be it for today's video, so thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I greatly appreciate your support. But until next time, I will catch you all in the next video.